Hey guys, it's Richard with the Hunter-Gatherer Society. It is an interesting day here, weather-wise. It's been raining on and off, storms passing by, but I got a little bit of sunshine right now. So I decided to take a break from the planting, the patio garden, and get out in the woods and do some fishing and foraging. So let's head on out and do something wild. Boy, it's getting really nice out. Although that sun's coming out, that means it's going to get humid. Here's a big batch of Biden's Alba. I don't know if there's any younger stuff. Here's some younger stuff over here. No flowers yet. That's the preferable way to harvest these. Take them before they get their flowers on them. I'll harvest a few of these on the way out. And I'll be optimistic that we'll get some fish today, and we'll saute those up with the fish. So, butterflies. Beautiful butterfly. Hey, little fella. Always take time to enjoy nature. Alright guys, this is where we're gonna fish. The Biden's Alba was about the only green that I found along the way. But as I said earlier, the water is kind of pulling out of the woods and pooling up in these little ponds and ditches. Somebody else had this spot already. But you can see how tiny this is. But you can also see rings on the water back there. There are fish in here. And it looks like there's a little bit of current on the back side, so there must be a little creek or something that flows out of here. I'm also noticing something else. It's not a green, but after we catch some fish, because again, I'm going to be optimistic, we can get some dessert. So this tree is just loaded with cocoa plums, and more coming. Now, cocoa plums, not a real dynamic flavor, but I find them very enjoyable. They're just mildly sweet. They've got a nut in the center. You can crack it very carefully with your teeth and eat the soft nut out of the center. But a very good little treat. You can also freeze them and eat them as a snack that way. They seem to break up real easily. And I'm seeing a big gar sitting on top of the water out here. I don't know if you can see him. There he goes. You can still see his outline underneath there, right there. So there's gar in here, so I'll have to be careful of that. But I happen to know there's also cichlids in here, Mayans. Might be some bass in here. I'm also noticing across the way, that's another cocoa plum tree. And I don't know if you can see it, but I can on the top. There are cocoa plums in there. So it looks like I'm going to do a little harvesting here. But first, time to get some fishing in. Alright, let's see if there's any fish in this little pond. Other than that big gar, which we're going to try to avoid. Just because I'm not really geared up for him. Oh, there's something. Oh man, he's in right to the lily pad. Oh. Look at that. That guy is a beast. Look at that. Oh, they have sharp little fins. Look at that beauty. That, slippery little guy, that is a Mayan. Mayan Cichlid. Beautiful color on the tail. Alright guys, something a little more aggressive. Going with a little mini Rapala. See if we can pull anything out of this canal. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's a nice one. Look at the color on this guy. Look at that guy. Beautiful. They're loving this. Oh, another Mayan. Another Mayan, another great eating fish. Oh, there he is. Oh yeah. Gotta keep him out of the lily pads. All right. All right, unhooked. Mosquitoes are coming out a little bit. Beautiful fish, beautiful colorings. Very fun to catch. We'll go back to the bobber trick and see if they'll be that aggressive. Oh yeah, they will. Oh, look at this guy. I'm telling you, if you're looking for a good meal, like I said, I've got plenty for me to eat. But these, that's a nice catch. Be right back. All right, guys, back in the saddle again. Oh, geez, pulling it right out of the weed. Nice fish. All right, another nice one. They were bending the hook, so I upgraded the hook. Oh, geez, you hit that right away. Oh, there's a beast. They are fighters, I'm telling you. Just a beautiful fish. Just another. Straighten out there, buddy. Another beautiful fish. Say hello. So much fun. I mean, they are fighters. I'll be back. Oh, boy, they're loving the weeds on the other side. They seem to be sitting. You can see them coming out to get it. Almost like they're sitting right up in the grass. When you grab these, you want to grab them up top, slide your hands down them, so you pull those top fins down, because they grab onto you. They are sharp. Slimy little things too. You want to keep something handy to wipe your hands. We'll get back over to the weed edge. Oh yeah, which is right where they're sitting. They're all pretty consistent sized. They're a hoot. They're fun to catch. They are fighting little fish. So I've worked the bank this way, and then I've worked the bank that way. I haven't had much luck on either side. There's a little grass pocket. You can see it right up in there. They seem to be laid up in there. I don't know if they've got some bait fish in there that they've cornered, but that seems to be the magic spot. And as soon as it lands, they hit it there. What's amazing is they'll chase it as well. So if they miss the first time, let them chase. Beautiful fish. Yep, you're not going to snap off this time. You will, however, get my bait, so I'll be back. So I put a bigger jig on. They're still bending this jig, so their mouths are so hard. Would like to know what got my lure. That was a big fish. But the way these things fight, could have been one of these as well, I suppose. Right away. Local birds are getting excited. They want me to give them some dinner. Probably not going to happen tonight. I'll tell you what, it turned out, after those storms passed, it turned out to be a gorgeous night. It is still overcast, but it is absolutely beautiful out. I've got just tons of birds up and down this canal. Cranes and other like diving birds. It's just absolutely beautiful. I have seen panther in this location, so who knows, as we get closer to dark, it's possible. There are bass in here. I did catch a nice largemouth a little bit ago on the other side, but I'm going to keep working this little group right here and see what else is in there. Oh, right for the side. I don't know where they're running to, but they run right for the shoreline. Get smart and just use the pliers this time. Still looking for that blue tilapia. I did catch one nice blue tilapia earlier. That was on the Rapala. I haven't seen one since. Which really surprised me to catch one on a lure like that. It's amazing. They're all about the same exact size. And, as I mentioned, hard on hooks. That was the last of that hook. I'll be back. All right, I'm switching over to just a regular hook and bait. So again, power grubs, Berkeley power grubs. Sorry, it won't focus there. Just white. I've been using red too. Right now it doesn't seem to matter, so we'll see if the straight hook will work. Oh yeah, as soon as it touched the water. So it doesn't matter what you throw at them right now. It doesn't matter. Now this is not the same spot that I started in earlier today. I did move. I actually had a crab trap in and went and checked that. No luck on that today. But so I decided I would switch to another little canal. This is maybe half-mile long. Not sure exactly where it comes out, so it might be longer than that. It ends just a little bit from me here, and it dries out quite a bit in the, I mean, never totally, but it dries way down during the dry season. So right now it's really high, so that must be why they're this far up. Oh, there he is. He was in there, in the grass. He was in the grass. That will require the pliers. I'm going to get him off, then I'll bring you back. So let's see if they're still there. was moving when it hit it. A lighter hookup that time. Eating my bait. Man, are they aggressive. Time to bait back up. All right, guys, well, I was wrong. That storm did come back around and chase me out of the woods. So, but it was really fun. That was a tiny little pond, and it's amazing to me how many fish can be in there. There's a lot of smaller ones. I saw a big gar, and of course, you know, we saw some of the Mayans, and managed to catch a couple of those. What was really fun too is being able to use the pack rod. You know, it's a micro fishing rod, and I paid just a few dollars for it, and it works really well. I can pack it up in my backpack, and when I do my overnights, or even if I just do a day pack, I can bring it with, and works very, very well. So, I mean, it's not a high-end rod and reel, you know, that's for sure, but that was never my expectations. For a few dollars, it's probably caught half a dozen or more fish while I was hiking, and that's worked out really well. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up these fish, and I might get back out and do it again, or I might rest. We'll see. A lot of projects around the house to do, but wanted to clean these up real quick. So these are going to clean out just like a panfish, and again, I think that's what they taste like, crappie or sunfish. They're a good eating fish. I really do enjoy them. Rinse him off a little. He's kind of hopped out of the bag there. And now you want to be careful of those back fins because they are sharp and the scales are fairly tough. So I just go in behind the gills, and then I go to the backbone, and then I just follow the backbone along until I feel the end of the rib cage, and then I push through and then come out by the tail. And then I'll just back up and just peel, and I'm just running my knife right along the bones. So if you've got a thinner knife, you can feel those bones. You can go right up over the rib cage, right over down to the stomach area, slide right down along the tail meat. And then you've got a nice fillet. And then I have done it where I scale them in the past and fry them with the skin on. It's so messy in the house, and it's just, I don't know, to me it's just not worth it. So I just go ahead, and this is the smaller one, and you can see that's a nice thick fillet. So I'll end up with 4 that size or bigger, and that's a nice little meal. Saute that up with some steamed vegetables or steamed greens, either the wild foraged or maybe the microgreens that I grow out in the garage. And then maybe throw on a few cocoa plums just for a nice little wild harvested dessert. The cocoa plums don't have a lot of meat on them, and so and they don't have a real strong flavor. So I've used them to ferment with. They will start a wild ferment. They do have enough yeast on them. The trouble is they don't really have much of a flavor to them, so they don't give you, you know, any type of a dynamic. You can't do like a wine or anything like that. So they mostly work as kind of a background starter, maybe a yeast starter, and then you'll want to add other things to it. You know, a lot of times, like I said, around the house here, we just we pop them in, we wash them, and then we pop them in the freezer, and then you can just pull them out, pull a handful out, and then eat them as a snack, and they work really well that way. So this is that larger one. I held him up earlier and mentioned the red spot, but I don't think you could really see it well on the video. And I'll flip him around this way. Seems to be the better of the two. But really unique colorings. Stripes on them. And then that beautiful red spot. They're very unique fish. And again, they are invasive here, but technically you're not supposed to let them go. So if you do catch them, you'll want to keep them. And I don't have any issues with that, frankly. All right, I'll tell you what, those fins, if you're not careful, they get you. They are sharp. Earlier when we were doing the video and we caught him, he got my thumb. Man, he struck blood on it. So they'll definitely get you. It's amazing down here. You know, I'm used to northern Minnesota. We still got some life left in him. I'm used to northern Minnesota and Alaska, and I don't know, it seems like down here there's a lot more things that bite and poke and stab. So I guess that's the difference with the tropics. So I'm always on the lookout for snakes and spiders and alligators, and when you catch the fish, you know, you got to be careful with them. So it seems like you're always kind of on your guard, which that's fine. That's a good thing to be on. You know, if you're doing the hunter-gatherer thing and you're going to spend a lot of time in the woods or on the water, you really do want to be on guard anyway. This is a nice fillet. Now there's not a lot of meat on the belly, but I try to get it. You know, I try to waste as little as I possibly can. Haven't done the fish head soup yet, but I'm going to try it one of these days. I heard it's pretty good, so there's a nice fillet. Again, these are smaller fish. They're a panfish, really. And you're not going to get a ton of meat off them. But again, 4 of these, you know, that's a nice little meal for 2 people. It's a heck of a meal for 1, which this will be me and my daughter. So it'll be a perfect size meal for the 2 of us. And then again, down along that tail, or down along that backbone, and I'm just feeling the knife. I can feel it riding along. And then you know, it stops because I'm hitting that rib cage. So the knife only goes in so far and then it stops. And then when that goes away, then I can push it all the way through, keep it flat along the tailbone, and just push it out the back. And then I come back, make sure I'm separating the meat from the backbone. Go all the way back to the rib cage, and you're just very gently sliding the knife along, riding across those bones. And then when you get to the rib cage, you just go up over the top of that. Now there are other ways to clean these, just like there's other ways to clean a crappie or a sunfish. This is just the way that I grew up doing it, and it's just the way I'm comfortable with. Some people may be watching this thinking, God, that seems like a hard way of doing it. Some may think it seems easy. But I've noticed that we did a competition, a friend and I, one day on deboning a northern pike. And we both had 2 ways of doing it. And we were both comfortable with our ways. The one thing I noticed is there was very little difference in the time it took to do it. But it was you know, when he watched me do mine, he just couldn't quite grasp it. When I watched him do his, I had kind of the same effect. I couldn't quite grasp it. So it really is what you're comfortable with. The goal is just get as much meat out there you can and not waste anything. So the straps, those will get sealed up. They'll go out to the garbage bin. It's Monday, so it'll be hauled away. If I think it's going to sit there very long, I'll put it in the freezer overnight, freeze it up nice and solid, and then I'll take it down in the garbage a day. That way it stays frozen for a little while. Wash up a little bit before I touch my camera. So that's done. That only took just a few minutes, and again, I'll saute these up, or I'll saute some vegetables up, probably some microgreens or maybe some of the wild foraged greens. And I think I'm going to cook these just real light. I think I'll use just a dry pan, maybe just a little water in it with some seasonings in the water, and then, or maybe even a broth. And then I'll just simmer them in that. And I'm going to add some lemon juice, some black pepper, and I'll add some of my homemade seaweed seasoning. And that's all I'm going to do with them. Serve them up with steamed vegetables. It'll make a nice snack. So it was a fun day out in the woods, and brought home some fruit, some fish, some greens. So it worked out really well. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.